You've been feeling something inside you shift, but it isn't anxiety, it's alignment. What you sense within is not chaos, but construction. God has been rearranging your inner world, preparing every fiber of your being for what's about to unfold. The fatigue, the restlessness, the strange stirring in your chest, none of it is random. It's evidence that a greater strength is being formed in you. What once felt like weakness is becoming wiring for power. Isaiah 40 verse 31 reminds you, "They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." This is what renewal feels like, uncomfortable, but necessary for what's next. There are seasons when God rebuilds you behind the scenes before revealing you in public. You may think you're being delayed, but you're being redesigned. When systems crash, new structures are born. The exhaustion you've been fighting isn't punishment. It's preparation. The Creator who spoke galaxies into order is now bringing order to your own rhythm. Every nerve, every breath, every thought is being reprogrammed for endurance. You're not being drained. You're being detoxed from what no longer belongs in your next chapter. Sometimes transformation begins as tension. When your body feels unsettled, it's often the sign that your purpose has outgrown your previous patterns. Philippians 1 verse 6 assures, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." You are not unfinished, you are in process. God isn't patching the old. He's installing something new, something sustainable, something strong. The familiar ways of functioning can't handle what's coming, and that's why you feel this divine disruption. You're not being undone. You're being upgraded. This is what spiritual surgery feels like, necessary discomfort. God doesn't anesthetize growth, He awakens you through it. You're learning to breathe differently, to move differently, to think differently. The ache is not your enemy. It's the evidence of reconstruction. The pressure you feel isn't destroying you. It's shaping capacity. The areas of your life that once operated on reaction are now being built on revelation. Where you once responded in fear, you're learning endurance. Where you once doubted, you're now developing stability. Every cell within you recognizes the call of transformation. The Creator designed your body to adapt to the purpose assigned to it. As 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17 declares, "If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away and all things have become new." You are not the same, and that's the point. Your renewal may not be visible to others, but it's undeniable in the spirit. You can sense it in the way peace is returning where panic used to reign. You can feel it in the quiet confidence rising within you, even when circumstances haven't shifted yet. You're not falling apart. You're being formed for the future. What's coming requires a new vessel, and God is shaping that vessel in you. The stillness you feel isn't stagnation. It's the divine calibration of power before release. You are not in decline, you are in design. The version of you emerging from this process will not break under pressure, it will carry presence. The waiting has purpose, the stretching has meaning, the process has promise. God is preparing your body, your mind, and your spirit for glory you haven't yet imagined. What once weakened you will empower you. What once broke you will build you. What once silenced you will speak through you. You're being rewired for victory. Friend, the signals started small, the kind you almost ignored. A sudden fatigue that didn't match your effort, emotions surfacing without reason, and a strange pull toward solitude. These weren't signs of collapse, but whispers of transformation. Something sacred was shifting beneath the surface, aligning what had drifted out of rhythm. You weren't being emptied without purpose. You were being cleared for a greater capacity. Isaiah 43 verse 19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it?" That new thing doesn't start around you, it begins within you. When God starts an upgrade, He doesn't ask permission from your comfort zone. He disturbs patterns that no longer serve your purpose. The sudden loss of interest in old habits, the disconnect from familiar circles, the silence replacing noise. It's not isolation, it's installation. You're not losing energy, you're being rewired for endurance. God removes what drains your focus so you can hear the new frequency of your next chapter. Romans 12 verse 2 reminds us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, because every renewal starts by replacing what no longer works. You're being refitted for the weight of what's ahead. There comes a moment when what used to satisfy suddenly feels empty. The conversations that once thrilled you begin to sound shallow. The spaces you once called home start to feel too small. That's not rejection, that's redirection. God is upgrading your appetite. What entertained you in the last season no longer feeds your soul because you've outgrown spiritual fast food. Your hunger is maturing, and so is your purpose. The call within you is demanding new nourishment, deeper prayer, purer motives, clearer discernment. It's not that life lost color, it's that your vision sharpened. As this inner transformation unfolds, your nervous system begins to recalibrate. Where panic once controlled you, peace starts to take command. The things that used to trigger fear no longer carry the same power. You begin to sense a quiet stability, not because storms stopped coming, but because you've learned to rest while they rage. Psalm 51 verse 10 captures this process perfectly. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Renewal isn't instant, it's progressive. The shaking you feel isn't punishment, it's preparation for steadiness. Sometimes what feels like breaking is actually birthing. You're not coming apart, you're coming alive. Every trembling moment is heaven's way of teaching you balance in motion. When you feel stretched, it's because your capacity is being enlarged. When doors close without warning, it's not loss, it's leading. God is rearranging your environment to match your elevation. He removes access before he grants increase. The fatigue that once frustrated you is actually the body's way of cooperating with divine recalibration. You are shedding spiritual weight so that your next move can be carried with grace instead of strain. This transformation rarely announces itself. It moves quietly through daily moments. The morning you wake up craving stillness, the afternoon you realize old arguments no longer matter, the evening when tears fall not from pain but from release. That's the evidence of internal expansion. God is not just changing your circumstances, He's transforming your responses to them. Every pulse of discomfort signals that the old systems within you are being dismantled, making room for a sturdier foundation. The upgrade doesn't feel like glory at first, it feels like grief. You grieve who you were because that version can't cross into the next stage. Yet beneath that ache is an emerging strength, one that no longer seeks validation but flows from conviction. The old rhythm of rushing is replaced by divine pacing. The frantic need to control gives way to trust. You're learning that true transformation doesn't shout, it whispers through surrender. Each quiet recalibration is heaven's craftsmanship at work, invisible yet intentional. The symptoms that once worried you are the signals that everything is coming into divine order. You are not unraveling, you're being rewoven with endurance, peace, and power. What you're calling exhaustion is actually expansion. God is building a stronger version of you from the inside out. When your surroundings begin to feel too small, when the conversations that once satisfied you start to lose meaning, and when familiar places suddenly feel foreign, it's not rejection, it's redirection. God has begun to expand what can no longer remain contained. Discomfort becomes his language, a gentle yet persistent whisper that says, "You've stayed here long enough." Growth often begins with God cutting away what once felt secure. What feels like loss is actually his hand preparing you for abundance. There's a sacred discomfort that follows those chosen for greater capacity. It doesn't show up as chaos, but as a divine unease that won't let you settle. When you start sensing this tension, it isn't punishment, it's communication. You're being invited into transformation that requires new space. Sometimes, God disturbs your comfort to prevent stagnation from stealing your purpose. What once felt peaceful can suddenly feel too quiet, not because God has left, but because He's calling you higher. He rearranged your peace so you'll seek His presence beyond patterns. Restlessness, in His language, is revelation. It's the announcement that something in you has outgrown where you are. You might try to return to old rhythms, but they no longer carry the same weight. You may crave the simplicity of what used to work, yet every attempt to return leaves you unfulfilled. That's not failure, it's transformation. Renewal rarely feels easy. It's the process of unlearning comfort to make room for calling. When peace feels disrupted, it doesn't mean something's wrong. It means something new is forming. You're not breaking down, you're breaking open. God allows pressure to stretch what has been too small for too long. Every tear, every sigh, every sleepless night is the language of expansion. He knows exactly how much to press so your purpose emerges fully formed. James 1 verse 2-4 encourages believers to count it all joy when faced with trials because endurance produces maturity. Maturity cannot develop in ease. It grows through divine tension. Your emotions aren't betraying you, they're signaling transition. That uneasiness inside is not emotional confusion, but spiritual calibration. God uses discomfort to reveal where your trust still needs anchoring. When fear rises, it's often the soul realizing that an old identity cannot survive in a new season. The same energy that feels like anxiety is often anticipation wearing disguise. Pay attention to what stirs within you. God is not shouting, He's stirring. Each moment of agitation holds purpose. The reason you feel stretched isn't because God is punishing you, but because He's making space for new strength. You've prayed for greater capacity, and this is how He builds it. Like gold refined by fire, as Proverbs 17 verse 3 describes, you are being purified, not destroyed. What burns away are limitations, habits, and attachments that can't walk into your future. The refining isn't rejection, it's recognition. God sees more in you than you've seen in yourself. There will be moments when you wonder if something is wrong with you, when old relationships fade, when familiar doors close, when joy feels buried under transition. But remember this, what God prunes, He plans to prosper. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17 declares that temporary affliction produces an eternal weight of glory. Temporary pain is building permanent purpose. You are not falling apart. You are falling into divine order. When discomfort appears, lean in rather than retreat. Ask God, what are you forming in me through this? His silence doesn't mean absence. It means He's still crafting. The stretching you feel is proof that you're not being left behind. You're being called ahead. Everything that feels unstable is actually aligning to the rhythm of His plan. The tension you feel is sacred. Don't run from it. It's the sound of God making space inside you for the next move, the next level, the next revelation. You are not meant to fit where you once did. The unease you feel is holy preparation, an invisible construction of something greater than what was before. When peace returns, it will carry new depth, forged in the quiet language of holy discomfort. And before it manifests externally, it must first unfold within you. God never elevates a person without renewing the system that governs their thoughts. Before the promise comes the process, and that process begins in the mind. Every thought builds a pathway, every belief writes code into your inner world. Romans 8 verse 6 declares that the mind governed by the Spirit brings life and peace. When your thinking aligns with His truth, you stop surviving by reaction and start living by revelation. The change you're praying for in your surroundings is waiting for your agreement within. When God prepares you for destiny, He doesn't work through your circumstances first. He begins with your mindset. That's because destiny cannot live inside old programming. The promises of God require new mental architecture, new emotional language, and new internal rhythm. Some of the resistance you've been feeling isn't external warfare, but internal renovation. Heaven is rewriting codes of fear, scarcity, and self-limitation with boldness, gratitude, and clarity. The discomfort isn't punishment, it's an update. The version of you that doubted, hesitated, and overthought is being replaced by someone who moves in divine confidence. Your thoughts are not small, they are seeds. Every thought sends a signal to your spiritual DNA, shaping the posture of your heart and the direction of your actions. When those signals carry fear, they limit what God can pour into you. But when they carry trust, peace, and expectancy, the entire inner world shifts. Philippians 4 verse 8 invites believers to think on things that are true, noble, pure, and lovely. These aren't just moral guidelines. They are instructions for spiritual power. The quality of your thoughts determines the strength of your atmosphere. Transformation begins when the stories you tell yourself match the truth God declares about you. If you keep replaying narratives of rejection, failure, or unworthiness, your life will reflect them. But when you meditate on what God says, that you are chosen, redeemed, and equipped, your reactions, emotions, and decisions begin to synchronize with His will. The Holy Spirit removes the corrupted files of anxiety and self-doubt that have occupied your system for too long. What once triggered fear will soon activate faith. What once felt impossible will become familiar territory. God is not only changing what you think, He's transforming how you react. In past seasons, pressure might have made you panic, but in this one, it will produce praise. Your nervous system is being trained to interpret challenges as opportunities. Instead of shrinking under fear, you'll expand under grace. Old habits of worry are being replaced with quiet confidence. Every time anxiety tries to rise, a new script is written. Be still and know that He is God. The rewiring is not only spiritual but emotional, teaching you how to maintain peace even when the storm hasn't passed. When alignment takes root, strength becomes natural. You no longer chase stability, you carry it. The same voice that once questioned your worth now echoes assurance. You stop rehearsing what broke you and start reinforcing what built you. Heaven's goal is not to make you appear strong, but to make you authentically whole. The more your mind agrees with God, the more your reactions mirror His nature. The renewal process is holy work. It may feel like parts of you are being erased, but what's truly happening is restoration. You are being restored to the version of yourself that God imagined before fear rewrote your story. New thoughts are forming new pathways, and every pathway leads closer to purpose. As your inner world aligns, your outer world starts to reflect it. When your thoughts echo heaven, your body moves with heaven. Strong, steady, and sure. Beloved, God removes what's toxic before He releases what's holy. Every elevation starts with elimination. Before fresh oil flows, the vessel must first be emptied of residue that once felt comfortable. Many wonder why doors close suddenly, or why relationships shift without warning, yet purification often unfolds through disruption. What you see as loss is often protection in disguise. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 17 declares, Therefore come out from among them and be separate, a call that echoes through every season of transformation. When God calls you higher, He doesn't just promote your position, He purifies your patterns. Transformation requires surrendering attachments that can't thrive where you're going. The Spirit doesn't just reveal what's wrong, He rewires what's wounded. Some things you once relied on were never meant to follow you into freedom. Habits that once soothed you now drain your purpose. Connections that once motivated you now mute your growth. The process starts not with resistance, but with recognition, recognizing that you can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. As you release what has expired, clarity returns. Peace flows into spaces that were once clouded by confusion. There are moments when God removes distractions disguised as comfort. The familiar can become a cage when you've outgrown its dimension. You may find yourself uncomfortable in circles that once celebrated you, but growth often creates holy friction. Every discomfort is an invitation to re-examine alignment. Sometimes you're not being punished, you're being pruned. Hebrews 12 verse 11 reminds, No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace. What feels like restriction is really preparation for restoration. Detox doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. A quiet conviction that you can't keep engaging in conversations that drain your discernment. A soft nudge to step away from environments that no longer nurture your calling. It's not rejection, it's redirection. God won't allow you to stay bound to what no longer reflects His reflection in you. The Spirit purges not out of anger, but out of intention. You're not being emptied for nothing. You're being cleared for something greater. Every detachment has meaning, even when understanding feels distant. Emotional detox often feels like isolation. There are seasons when your phone stops ringing, your circle gets smaller, and your energy withdraws from what once entertained you. It's easy to mistake silence for abandonment, but it's actually refinement. God separates you from noise to reintroduce you to His whisper. During these quiet intervals, He searches your thoughts, as Psalm 139, verse 23-24 says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." The stillness that once felt heavy becomes sacred ground for transformation. Some friendships will dissolve without explanation because your frequency changed. You no longer vibrate on the wavelength of compromise. The people who once understood your past might not comprehend your progress. When your mindset evolves, certain bonds can't hold the same strength. They were built for who you were, not who you're becoming. It's not arrogance, it's ascension. God isn't breaking connections to punish you. He's adjusting your company to match your capacity. You're being freed from emotional programming that kept you replaying cycles you were meant to outgrow. In the process of divine detox, you learn to stop chasing closure and start embracing clarity. You no longer need explanations for every ending because revelation itself becomes your reassurance. You realize what you're losing isn't valuable, it's simply expired. God empties you so He can fill you again, not with more noise but with new wisdom, not with temporary satisfaction but with lasting substance. Every tear shed during transition waters the ground for what's next. You're not being stripped, you're being streamlined. The old layers fall away to reveal the original design beneath them. The pain of letting go is proof of holy purification. You are not being cancelled, you are being cleared. Each release removes residue, each surrender restores rhythm. The same hand that removes also rebuilds. What once felt like breaking is actually shaping, molding you into a vessel fit for greater purpose. The detox isn't punishment, it's positioning. God is not taking from you. He's making room within you for what will sustain the next chapter. Healing is rarely isolated to one part of you. When God touches your inner life, it is never partial. It reaches the deepest recesses of your thoughts, emotions, and body. The process is intentional, meticulous, and full of purpose. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 23 reminds us that God's plan is to sanctify your entire being, spirit, soul, and body. Every adjustment, every pause, every moment of stillness is orchestrated to bring you into harmony, a rhythm that allows you to function at full capacity without friction or force. You are being synchronized from within, not merely patched together from without. The signals are subtle at first. You notice that your mind is quieter after prayer, your body feels lighter after moments of surrender, and your emotions respond with more stability in challenging situations. These are not coincidences, they are the whispers of alignment. God is restoring order inside you so that your outer world can reflect the peace you carry within. John 14 verse 27 tells us that the peace He gives is not like the peace the world offers. It is steady, reliable, and life-giving. As your inner being settles, your physical energy adjusts, your decisions gain clarity, and your endurance lengthens. Harmony begins with understanding that each part of you affects the other. Your spirit influences your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions impact your physical well-being. When one aspect is neglected or in conflict, imbalance follows. The rewiring you are experiencing is teaching you to maintain balance even in moments of pressure. This is not laziness, it is obedience. You are learning that strength does not come from constant striving, but from allowing God's rhythm to guide every action, every breath, every decision. As Proverbs 4 verse 20-22 reminds us, wisdom, health, and life flow from paying attention to instruction and embracing understanding. What your spirit receives in moments of communion with God begins to manifest in your body. Anxiety softens, fatigue eases, and tension releases because the invisible aligns before the visible. Your nervous system, long conditioned to react to stress and overstimulation, begins to reset. Divine peace becomes your internal regulator, stabilizing your heart, your thoughts, and even your breathing. You are learning to carry God's glory without burning out, moving with intention rather than exhaustion. The rhythm of life is not a race but a cadence. Each pause, each reflective breath allows your body to catch up with your calling. Balance creates natural flow. When body, mind, and inner life align, purpose becomes effortless. You are not meant to merely survive in a world that demands constant performance. You are being built to sustain. This harmony is not simply physical or emotional. It is spiritual architecture that equips you to hold more, endure more, and shine brighter. Every healthy habit, every mindful thought, every surrendered moment is part of a larger design, a synchronization that amplifies your capacity for effectiveness in both ministry and personal life. As you practice alignment, you discover a deeper rhythm. You respond instead of reacting, listen instead of rushing, and engage without tension. Each day, your energy, your clarity, and your resilience expand. You are learning to trust that God's pace is sufficient, that He does not require speed when preparation is necessary. This alignment is the tuning process that makes your life a capable instrument, ready to resonate fully with the mission you have been given. Balance does not demand perfection. It requires willingness. It asks you to follow the timing of restoration, to honor both action and pause, to respect the interconnectedness of body, mind, and inner life. When you embrace this alignment, you discover that obedience and ease coexist. Strength is not produced by pushing harder, but by moving in harmony with the life God is cultivating within you. You are not a divided being. You are a fully integrated instrument, and God is tuning every part for its next great symphony. Each moment of recalibration, each adjustment of thought, each quiet breath is an investment in resilience, endurance, and the manifestation of God's glory through a unified life. Your alignment is not incidental. It is intentional, sacred, and unstoppable. You see, true power is rarely loud. It does not announce itself in grand gestures or loud proclamations. Real strength breathes quietly, unshakable and persistent. It is the calm presence that moves without disturbance, the inner authority that stands firm even when the world rushes around you. Exodus 14 verse 14 reminds us, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." In these moments of silence, you are learning that endurance often looks invisible, and yet it carries more impact than any display of force. What you feel as quiet or stillness is not weakness, it is preparation. When pressure rises and chaos threatens to pull you off balance, the strength that truly matters manifests in composure. You are discovering that calm is the most powerful response to adversity. Psalm 46 verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness is not passive. It is an active engagement of trust, a steady heartbeat of confidence that refuses to be swept away by circumstances. The world equates action with power, but God is showing you that true authority often grows in the moments you resist reacting and choose to rest in His presence. Your body, mind, and emotions are all learning a new rhythm. You are being trained to respond to faith rather than fear, to endurance rather than impulse, to obedience rather than panic. Every heartbeat, every pause, every intentional breath is part of a spiritual exercise that teaches you resilience. The quiet you experience is intentional. God is not absent. He is orchestrating the next phase of your breakthrough, and your ability to remain unshaken is the proof of your readiness. Strength in stillness is the unseen preparation that precedes visible acceleration. Sometimes the most powerful victories happen in the absence of spectacle. Your external life may appear dormant, and yet internally, monumental changes are taking place. Isaiah 30 verse 15 reminds you that salvation and strength are found in quietness and trust. This is the paradox. The calmer you are, the more forceful your impact will ultimately become. You are learning that rest under pressure is not avoidance. It is warfare in its purest form. Every moment of controlled patience is equipping you to operate from a higher dimension of spiritual authority. The silence you experience is a teacher. It refines your priorities, fortifies your focus, and aligns your inner life with God's timing. Your body is learning to respond to trust rather than adrenaline, to patience rather than hurry. This is training for longevity, not just immediate victory. When you practice stillness, you are building stamina for the season that will require sustained excellence, unwavering discipline, and quiet, consistent power. Calmness under pressure is also a witness. Others may mistake your silence for inaction, yet your quiet endurance communicates confidence, discernment, and mastery. People respond to presence more than noise. Your peace becomes a magnet for divine alignment, and a signal that God's work in you is steady, deliberate, and unstoppable. This kind of inner fortitude cannot be borrowed, fabricated, or imitated. It is earned in moments of faithful stillness. Stillness is not inactivity. It is a conscious choice to trust God while He orchestrates, a spiritual muscle refined by patience and obedience. As you grow into this rhythm, you realize that peace is not merely a byproduct of resilience. It is the source. The quieter you become, the more force you carry, because your authority is rooted in trust and endurance rather than reaction. Your strength has been made silent so that it may become undeniable when God's timing unfolds. You are learning that lasting influence is quiet authority. The ability to remain unmoved, unshaken, and patient under pressure is more formidable than any display of force. Every moment of stillness is an act of influence, every pause a declaration of control. Calm is now your strength, silence is now your weapon, and your trust in God is the engine that drives everything that is yet to come. Friend, you asked for more, for expansion, for a life that stretches beyond your current capacity. And yet, before the rise, God begins with the groundwork. You prayed for movement, breakthroughs, and new doors, but first, He fortifies your structure. Matthew 7 verse 24 to 25 reminds us that the one who hears and acts on God's words is like a wise man who built his house on rock. The storms come, but the foundation holds firm. This is not a season of wasted waiting. It is the deliberate preparation of your core. Strength begins unseen. Roots dig deep where eyes cannot see. The quiet months, the still hours, the moments of apparent pause, these are the invisible laboratories where God engineers resilience. Colossians 2 verse 7 says, "Rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught." You may feel stagnant, but every trial, every restriction, every time you were forced to wait, has been reinforcing the very soil beneath your life. Abundance without a solid base collapses. God is ensuring you will withstand the weight of His promises. Delays are often misinterpreted as denial, yet they are deliberate engineering. God does not rush the framework. Just as a skyscraper cannot rise without scaffolding, you cannot operate at your next level without structural reinforcement. Every obstacle, every season of waiting is a teacher. Each moment trains endurance, patience, and reliance on His timing. You are not being held back. You are being equipped to carry more without fracturing under pressure. Isaiah 28 verse 16 reminds us that God lays a sure cornerstone. When you trust that process, your house is secured against the storms that lie ahead. Solid bases are built in silence. While others rush for visibility, you are being prepared in obscurity. Hidden growth often yields the most potent resilience because it cultivates humility, discipline, and lasting stability. You may not see the transformation taking place internally, but your core is being reinforced with unseen wisdom. The cracks that once appeared under pressure are being sealed. Your perseverance is being engineered into every fiber of your being, and every part of your life is being aligned to bear the load of what God is about to release. You are learning to handle more without breaking. Every lesson in patience, every test of perseverance, is an invisible weight training that fortifies your soul and mind. The endurance you cultivate now ensures that when the breakthrough arrives, it will not overwhelm you. Your capacity is expanding quietly, methodically, as God continues to build a house that cannot fall. This is the pattern of spiritual architecture. Dig deep before you rise high, anchor before you extend, prepare before you flourish. The process is intentional. God is reinforcing what He intends to sustain. Nothing in your life is accidental. Every relationship, every challenge, every season of seeming inactivity has contributed to the fortification of your foundation. Storms test the foundation, but the well-built house remains unshaken. Your endurance under delay and quiet discipline is proof that your core is being prepared to hold the weight of purpose. Hidden growth is never wasted. You may feel unseen, unnoticed, and uncelebrated, yet the work taking place inside you is preparing you for a higher dimension of blessing. The depth you are developing now will sustain you when opportunities arrive and responsibilities multiply. Every layer of patience, perseverance, and obedience is a brick laid for longevity, stability, and unwavering faithfulness. The deeper the foundation, the higher the calling. Trust in the silent reinforcement taking place within your life. God is meticulously building a structure that will endure, equip, and elevate. Your visible expansion is coming, but only because the invisible preparation is complete. The storms that once threatened you will now pass without shaking your core. What is hidden in patience, obedience, and quiet growth is preparing you for a life that cannot collapse under pressure. One morning, without warning, you will notice a shift. The weight that once pressed heavily on your chest, the burdens that felt permanent, will no longer define your rhythm. You'll look in the mirror and see the reflection of someone lighter, freer, and profoundly changed. Psalm 103 verse 5 reminds us that God satisfies our desires with good things, renewing our strength so that we can flourish. This renewal is not just internal comfort. It is a covenantal transformation, a testimony that what was once labor and strain has been reconfigured into light. The change begins subtly. Your thoughts are sharper, your decisions calmer, your emotions steadier. This is not coincidence, and it is not surface-level improvement. Ezekiel 36 verse 26 declares that God gives a new heart and a new spirit, removing the old and installing the new. The heaviness that felt inevitable is being replaced with a natural rhythm of peace and purpose. Even your physical body responds. Energy flows differently. Your movements carry an ease they never had, and vitality becomes an unspoken signature of your transformation. The glow you now carry is evidence of restoration at every level, mental, emotional, and physical. People around you will sense it before you speak of it. You may enter a room and find that tension eases, that eyes soften, and that conversations flow with unexpected clarity. Transformation is contagious. Your presence becomes a subtle declaration of what it means to be remade. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 16 tells us, "Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." Renewal is rarely dramatic at first. It unfolds quietly, yet powerfully, until the difference cannot be denied. Your life begins to operate in a new tempo, no longer dictated by struggle but guided by grace. Clarity accompanies this season. You will see what was once confusing with fresh understanding. Decisions that seemed impossible now have perspective, and priorities shift naturally. Where there was restlessness, there is a settled assurance. Where there was heaviness, there is freedom. This is not luck or coincidence. It is intentional recalibration. The unseen work of God, the rewiring of your mind, emotions, and body, finally begins to manifest visibly. Every step you take, every word you speak, carries the resonance of a person renewed from the inside out. The fruit of this transformation is unmistakable. You will feel peace that defies circumstance, a joy that is not conditional on events or approval. Your resilience increases, your patience expands, and your capacity to love and forgive deepens naturally. Blessings follow restoration, not just in material provision, but in the fullness of life, energy, vitality, and hope. This is the hallmark of God's work, internal renewal that inevitably reflects outwardly, shaping your life into a living testimony of restoration and promise. Renewal also redefines your pace. The grind that once dominated your schedule and your mindset gives way to grace. Your decisions, your work, and your relationships begin to reflect rhythm instead of strain. What was once laborious feels aligned, intentional, and productive. Your body mirrors your internal state, energized by clarity, fortified by peace, and strengthened by renewed focus. When inner restoration occurs, outward signs follow, and your life becomes a visible testament to God's refining process. The ultimate revelation of renewal is recognition. You are no longer the person who endured endless struggle. You have emerged from seasons of discomfort into a life that radiates evidence of transformation. Even those who have known you for years will notice the subtle but unmistakable shift. You are walking proof that God rebuilds carefully, intentionally, and with unmatched precision. The heaviness is gone, replaced by light that cannot be concealed, joy that cannot be silenced, and strength that is rooted in enduring restoration. You are not who you were before this season began. The invisible work has borne visible fruit. Your life is no longer governed by burden but by alignment, not by struggle but by renewal. You are living evidence that restoration is real, that God's work is perfect, and that patience, obedience, and trust always yield transformation beyond expectation. The light within you is undeniable, the peace unshakable, and the reflection unmistakable. You are a testament to what God can do when He rebuilds with intention and perfection. Beloved, the journey of transformation reaches its most exhilarating stage when you recognize that all the inner work, the refining, the quiet seasons of adjustment were not for comfort alone. They were preparation for your appointed purpose. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 reminds us that God knew you before you were formed, and He set a path specifically for your life, long before the first step was taken. This is the awakening of purpose. The moment when your internal alignment converges with God's external assignment, and every cell in your body resonates with readiness. You will sense it deep within, a stirring that is no longer anxiety or restlessness, but a confident call to step into what you were designed to do. Restoration and revelation are inseparable. Every trial that tested you, every discomfort that seemed unnecessary, every season of waiting has been equipping you to operate with clarity and boldness. You are no longer the person who doubted your ability to thrive under pressure. The same Spirit who rewired your mind and strengthened your emotions now empowers you to influence, to lead, and to bless. Ephesians 2 verse 10 reminds us that you are God's workmanship created for good works prepared beforehand. The awakening of purpose is when preparation meets opportunity, and your inner renewal becomes the vessel through which destiny flows. You are being positioned for impact. The rooms you enter, the conversations you engage in, the decisions you make, all are guided by unseen alignment. God is not sending you blindly. Every encounter has significance, every placement is intentional. Your story, born from trials, silence, and unseen effort, now has power to inspire faith in others. People will recognize your authenticity and draw courage from the evidence of transformation in your life. Matthew 28 verse 19 to 20 encourages us to go and make disciples, teaching and demonstrating what God has revealed. Your journey itself becomes a living message, a testament of readiness that activates belief in those around you. Purpose does not require fanfare, it flows naturally from completeness. When alignment is achieved, the pressure to perform diminishes, and your impact becomes effortless yet undeniable. You will notice that your words carry weight, your actions spark momentum, and your presence inspires change. The spiritual technology installed within you during the seasons of silence, struggle, and recalibration is now operational. It is precision, not randomness, that marks your every move. You are equipped to carry what was once too heavy, to navigate spaces once intimidating, and to fulfill assignments once unimaginable. This awakening is a call to step boldly, not arrogantly. The world may mistake your readiness for confidence in self, but it is entirely rooted in God's preparation. You have been remade, rewired, and restored to function at a level that demands reliance on His guidance while demonstrating human excellence. Every lesson, every moment of perseverance, every period of stillness has constructed the architecture for influence that is both profound and enduring. Your purpose is an activation of all you have endured, and all you have learned, a convergence of intention, ability, and timing. As you walk into this next phase, remember that preparation always precedes promotion. Your patience has not been wasted, your obedience has not gone unnoticed. Every season of waiting, every internal adjustment, every refinement has been shaping you for this moment. You are no longer simply reacting to life. You are moving in the rhythm of deliberate assignment. God's plan has orchestrated each step so that when you arrive fully equipped, fully aligned, and fully ready. The world is waiting for the manifestation of what God has created. The rewiring was preparation. The invisible work of refining, clearing, and aligning was meant to make you the masterpiece you are today. You are positioned to carry influence, inspire change, and fulfill assignments with precision. This is the awakening of your calling, the intersection of preparation, power, and divine appointment. Now, every move you make, every interaction you engage in, and every opportunity you embrace will be a living demonstration of the intentional work God has done in you. The truth is, every trial, every moment of waiting, and every situation that seemed unfair was part of a meticulous process to prepare you for what's ahead. Philippians 3 verse 13 to 14 reminds us to forget what lies behind and press forward toward the prize God has set before us. You were never falling apart. You were being reconstructed with precision, strengthened in ways that cannot be measured by human eyes. Each tear you shed was watering the seed of transformation, nurturing resilience and maturity that would later blossom into unshakable readiness. You may have questioned the purpose of the seasons that stretched you, the moments when your strength felt insufficient. Yet these were the very moments that trained you to carry weight without being weighed down. The rewiring you have undergone has created a foundation immune to fear, fortified by the confidence that only God can provide. Isaiah 60 verse 1 urges you to rise and shine, for your light has arrived. This light is the evidence of internal restoration, a signal that the process has shaped you to walk boldly, to step into assignments without hesitation, and to reflect God's glory in every arena of your life. Every part of you, spirit, soul, and body, now resonates with readiness. The obstacles that once threatened to define you now serve only as testimony of God's careful orchestration. Your character has been refined, your perspective sharpened, and your endurance solidified. Psalm 37 verse 23 affirms that the steps of the righteous are ordered, and every step you take moving forward will align with the purpose that has been cultivated within you. The process didn't destroy you, it defined you, marking the transition from mere survival to purposeful living, from trial to triumph. You are no longer the person who stumbled under pressure. You are the one who stands steady, equipped to steward the glory that God has prepared. The rewiring wasn't just healing, it was redesigning. It was installing strength where weakness once lingered, planting vision where confusion once clouded judgment, and embedding confidence where doubt once whispered. Now your journey is no longer reactive but intentional, no longer uncertain but directed by the clarity that only comes from God's work within. Take a deep breath, chosen one. Recognize that the seasons of testing, stretching, and refining have led to a level of readiness that exceeds anything you could have cultivated alone. The rewiring is complete. What lies ahead is not repair, not patching, but revelation. The unveiling of a life that has been rebuilt to carry purpose, influence, and divine manifestation. Your past was preparation. Your present is proof. Your future is the unfolding of everything God has meticulously crafted within you. Step forward with confidence, knowing that you are fully equipped for what comes next. Before we close, I want to invite everyone to bow their heads and open their hearts as we enter into a fervent, powerful prayer. Let us come together in unity, lifting our voices and spirits to the one who sees every part of us, who knows every cell, thought, and intention, and who is actively reshaping us for what lies ahead. Father, we come to you in gratitude, acknowledging that you are the creator of life, the author of transformation, and the God who never leaves what is unfinished. We thank you for every invisible work you have been doing inside us, even in the moments when we could not understand the shifts taking place. Thank you for the quiet refinements, the subtle adjustments, and the invisible alignments that are preparing our bodies, minds, and souls for assignments we cannot yet see. We praise you for being a God who works tirelessly on behalf of those you love, who sees the end from the beginning, and who knows exactly what we need to walk into our purpose fully equipped. Lord, we lift up our bodies to you. We surrender every cell, every system, every organ, and every muscle, acknowledging that you are the one who sustains life and breath. We invite your healing and restoration, asking you to remove what no longer serves our design, and to strengthen what is required for endurance and vitality. Restore our strength where we have grown weary, refresh our energy where exhaustion has settled, and renew our physical vessels so that we can stand strong for the tasks ahead. Let our bodies respond to your guidance, functioning as instruments of your glory and reservoirs of supernatural resilience. Father, we lift our minds and thoughts to you. Reprogram us from patterns of worry, fear, and doubt into clarity, confidence, and steadfast focus. Let every thought align with your truth, releasing us from old cycles of hesitation and uncertainty. Teach us to think in ways that honor you, to discern clearly the paths we are meant to walk, and to embrace the changes in perspective you are cultivating. May our minds serve as a compass, directing our hearts and actions toward what matters most in your kingdom. We lift our emotions to you, Lord, asking for steady peace where turbulence has existed, for courage where uncertainty has whispered, and for joy that sustains us even when circumstances are challenging. Transform any restlessness into alertness, any frustration into patience, and any heaviness into hope. Let us feel your presence profoundly in moments of quiet, knowing that the shifts we cannot yet see are part of your grand design to equip us for our purpose. Lord, we pray for alignment in every area of our lives. Bring our bodies, minds, and spirits into perfect harmony with your will. Let the adjustments you are making within us be reflected outwardly in our actions, our relationships, and our decisions. May our every step honor you, and may the transformation within become a testimony of your faithfulness for others to witness. We give you praise for what is happening even now, for the unseen work of preparation, and for the strength, endurance, and clarity that will emerge as a result. May every moment of waiting, every challenge, and every refinement be recognized as your loving intervention, shaping us into vessels capable of carrying the weight of our calling. Father, we ask that your power continues to flow through every fiber of our being, connecting the work you've done inside us with the reality we are stepping into. Let us rise renewed, restored, and ready, carrying the light, strength, and wisdom you are placing within us into every room, every encounter, and every season ahead. We commit this process fully into your hands, trusting you with what we cannot yet see, knowing that your timing is perfect and your preparation is precise. Thank you for the invisible work, the silent alignment, and the steady rewiring that is transforming us from the inside out. We praise you, we honor you, and we acknowledge you as the one who prepares us completely for what is coming. We receive this renewal, this restoration, and this empowerment in your name with thanksgiving and unwavering trust. Amen. If this message has encouraged you or helped you recognize the work God is doing in your life, I warmly invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that God is rewiring their body and preparing them for what's coming. Thank you for being part of this community. May God continue to strengthen, restore, and guide you in every step of your journey.